Today on First Cup, we're going to talk about the new episode of Martial Arts Radio. I'll tell you what I did over the weekend. You'll probably type to me what you did over the weekend if you're joining us live. And just a bunch of other little stuff to talk about. Free training day. Stick around. We're rolling in 15. Crunch, crunch. In 5, 3, 2, 1. Good morning, everybody, and welcome. Today is Monday. It is September 13th, 2021. My name is Jeremy. This is my first cup of coffee. So, to those of you who watch later, thanks for watching. Those of you who join live, thank you. This is our first day streaming on Twitch, giving it a shot, see what happens. You know, still Facebook, still YouTube. Those are our cores for people to show up from. But the third option that we get in this tier is between Twitch and Twitter. We've tried Twitter for a few weeks. Figured let's do Twitch and see what happens. Are there potentially new people over on Twitch that we're not reaching? I don't know. Uh-oh. I hope you had a great Friday, Saturday, Sunday. What did I do this weekend? Well, if you know me, if you've been watching the show, you've got a pretty good idea what happened this weekend. Most weekends aren't that different for me. The difference was, had more, apparently not enough sleep, but that's not true. Good morning, Jenny. Had a little more friend time this weekend. Had some friends drop by. Had another friend drop by. We went to dinner yesterday. And really just, I was doing chores. This is the first time in months I've gotten to a place where the house is getting cleaned. For those of you who don't remember, I've been through a pile of things. And it's been tough. And I finally felt like really putting some time into putting things away and organizing and cleaning. And good morning, Nathan. And it's been good. It's been really good. Tons of garden harvesting. Oh man, it is crazy out there. I'm gonna have, if half the tomatillos that are growing get to a size that I can harvest, it's gonna be insane. There are 4 plants out there, and they look like small apple trees. They're just covered, absolutely covered. Oh, tomatillos are so good. I got ground cherries, and I'm still pulling in peas and beans. Hazelnuts are starting to drop. What else? What else are we doing? The pears. Pulling pears. It's just like being on a farm. I basically live on a small farm. Good morning, Stacy. Here, let's change this banner. We'll do that one. And drop this one. And we'll put that one up. There. Man. What else did I do? Friday was a decent day. Worked. Actually, I did some really good work. There's a, let's see. How do I say it without being too specific? Because I don't name I don't shout out my clients. That doesn't feel right. I have a client, newer client. Hey, I'm guessing that's Frank. Frank, totally fine if you stay logged in as whistlekick. This is your show too. Jenny says, my little container garden and I are a bit jealous of your farm. That's okay. Takes time. Takes a lot of time. Takes time to get it going. Takes time to keep it there. Good morning, Daniel. So this client is newer, somebody I've known for a few months, and they're putting together an event. And starting a few months ago, he would say, hey, what would you do for this? I was like, well, I do this or that. And he'd come back to me a week later. Hey, that worked out really well. And so we repeated this process for months. And finally he said, can I hire you? And I said, sure. And we had a meeting, he and I and another person who's advising on this event on Friday. And it went really well. Some really strong work. After I did some other really strong work for a different client doing some writing. Strong enough that a client who typically has a lot of feedback on what I do had no feedback. They loved it and they wanted it. They want it on the website as soon as possible. Cool. Doing well. Daniel says, no comments today from me as I'm driving. Jared is asking, any favorite recipes for your farmed foods? Yeah. So tomatillos always turn into salsa because salsa verde, green salsa, tomatillo salsa, whatever you want to call it, it's really good. The frozen berries, because I got blueberries and raspberries and blackberries. Most of those are turning into jam. In fact, I didn't have enough for any one batch of anything, so I just pretty much threw all the fruit I had into the crock pot. So it was those 3 berries. There's apple in there. What else was in there? I feel like there was something else in there. Yeah, there were just random like half jars of sauces in the fridge, and I was like, I'll just cook those down, and I'm gonna freeze them. Canning is fine, but the problem when you open a jar of jam, if you can, it's huge. And by the time you go through it, you're going to throw away half of it. So lately I've been throwing everything in silicone muffin tins. And you take out, and it's still a big batch. It's still a big thing, but you can thaw that out and you can use it. So I've got a bread recipe that I'm slowly trying to dial in with more stuff around here that I grow. Like I'm swapping out some of the flour for hazelnuts. The last batch I did was okay. It needs a little bit more. And ultimately, because I'm not going to grow wheat here, I'm not going to grow corn. I'm going to grow a little bit of corn, but I'm not going to do cornmeal. I'm definitely not growing wheat. There's too much work. But I can grow quinoa. I tested that this year. So that bread recipe is ultimately going to be quinoa hazelnut bread. No worries, Frank. I don't think it's a bad thing at all that you respond to people as whistlekick. Yeah. Anything else? Any other recipes I could give people? I tend to eat very simple food. I go out to restaurants like I did last night. It's like, man, there are a lot of things on this salmon burger. It's like 6 ingredients. That's not how I eat generally. I posted, so this really has nothing to do with things that I've pulled in from around here. But if you go over to Instagram, my personal Instagram, you can see if you know what coconut aminos are, the non-soy sauce. I really like those, but they're really expensive. It's like $6+ a bottle. And I said, this is stupid. There's got to be a way to make this. First batch didn't go so well. Second batch came out perfect. So I posted that and people were like, what's the recipe? So I posted that. It's 3 ingredients. It's salt and water and coconut sugar. And I made a quart for probably 75 cents, maybe $1. Just take some time. So, yeah, I'm not a recipe person. I got a handful of things that I make, but yeah. All right, let's switch gears. Let's check out today's episode of Martial Arts Radio, because it's Monday, and we do this on Mondays. Where am I? I also have to shave today. It's itchy. My chin is itchy. Nope, it's not there, Jeremy. Go over here. Nope, it's not here yet. It's probably uploading or something right now. We'll check it again. Have you checked out Thursday's episode of Martial Arts Radio, How to Fight Jean-Claude Van Damme as Kurt Sloan in Kickboxer? I can never remember for whatever reason what his first name is. I expected that to do better. I really did. None of our YouTube stuff does as well as it used to, and that's kind of a bummer. We're going to keep doing it, but the world's busy. People are busy. Good morning, Francis. Here, let's pull that banner down. We don't need this up anymore. That one. So what's going on today? Frank says, I loved that episode. I did too. You know, the How to Fight episodes are super fun to make. And then when I go back through and I pick clips that Julius is going to put in, I have a good time. And anybody who watches them seems to really enjoy them. I don't know. I don't know what it's going to take to get our YouTube channel to really grow, to be big. Because one of the things, here's something we can talk about. One of the things we're not going to do is just be negative and critical. I put up something on, I think it was Friday, on TikTok. I think it was Friday morning, maybe Thursday. Anyway, the majority of content on TikTok related to martial arts are things like, here are the top 3 martial arts, or here are the top 3 worst martial arts, or here are the 5 best responses, you know, to somebody trying to punch you in the face. And it's all this overly simplified stuff that's designed to either get you riled up or suggest that a combative situation can be addressed like in list form. And drives me nuts because none of it helps anyone. And so I did a video making fun of that and calling it out, and it's done okay. Now, we could probably do the same sort of things that they do over on YouTube, and in fact, there was a point in time where we had a whole bunch of ideas dialed up. And we do some of this stuff, you know, top 10 Instagram accounts to follow, things like that. But we're not going to tell you the top 3 martial arts. That's never something we're going to say, because it's rude and it's arrogant. And we're not going to tell you the top, you know, here are the 4 best kicks to learn. Based on what? So we didn't run with any of those ideas, and we're not going to, because that's not how we do it. I don't. If you've seen Kickboxer, Jared's comment, Dance Off versus Kurt Sloan. I love it. Top 5 worst internet martial arts posts. Yeah. You know what? Here's one thing that happened on Friday that I came away feeling really positive about. Stacy and I had a call about a project that some of you responded you wanted to help with, and you should have an email. Took some time to wrap my head around it and to get through some of the personal stuff. And I'm not going to talk about what it is, but it's a thing that is done now, and I think it's done in a very terrible way. So we're going to do our own version. Just like we do a lot of things. We do our own version. We may not have the reach. We may not have the big name support. But I think what we do and the way we do things is far more positive, far more encouraging, sustainable, and in line with principles of the martial arts. If you're a martial artist and you run a business, especially a martial arts business, there shouldn't be conflict between the way you run your business and the principles of martial arts. Yeah, there just shouldn't. And there is a lot. I don't like it. What's going on today? Bunch of calls with people. I had a call with a martial arts school client this afternoon. We had to move that because one of their instructors is out. So we had to take that class. I'll go to karate tonight. That's my day. Nothing too fancy. Should go well. And we've got great weather coming through. Yeah, things are just, there's nothing exceptional happening, but there's just a bunch of good stuff. I like this time of year. I like when it's 55 degrees at night because I sleep really well, and then it's 80, 75 to 80 during the day. The windows stay open all the time. It's nice out. There aren't as many bugs. It's not hot. It's kind of cool. And Francis is being kind. And that's why whistlekick is so special. We're trying. And all of you are such a part of it. I was hesitant to use words like this when we started because I was nervous that people would think poorly of me. But whistlekick has a mission. We have a mission, even though this is a commercial business. Commercial businesses can have missions, and people can help with that mission, and that's what's going on. You look at the sheer number of people who have and do help on various things. We're doing something right. I don't know how many other martial arts organizations out there have people pretty much lining up to volunteer to do things. Just about everybody who is in this chat right now has done something to help us. And that's not to single out people who haven't. It's a fact. It means we're doing something right, and it makes me happy. And my ear is ringing. Oh, here's another thing, completely unrelated to martial arts, but I've been telling you guys about this. So my bottom shelf whiskey collection, you can see in the corner. There's the top one right now. But I bought another one, and this one is second. This one has taken second place. So if you like whiskey and you don't like spending a lot of money, Ezra Brooks Straight Rye, $14.99. So good. Served it to my friend Chris, who will be teaching at Free Training Day. He's not on social media. And he was like, wow, this is really good. I would assume this was a $60 bottle. Speaking of Free Training Day, the shirt design is done. That should go up today. We've got the slate of instructors set. I'm super excited. Emails are going to start going out. People are starting to ask questions like, what should I do for a session? And there's so much feedback. Daniel, you have helped. Don't say that. Daniel says, I don't think I've ever done anything to help. But if I ever can, you, of course, know where to find me. You've helped. You may not realize it, but you have. And the way that I handle that, if there's something that I want some help on, I just put it out there. Hey, who wants to help? Over the years I've learned, I don't ask people for help with this because people are likely to say yes and then not do it. And I can't do that. It doesn't work well. So if I just say, who wants to help? It requires some effort. And this is something, if you have a business or something like this, you've got to find a way to filter out people's intent versus their actions. Everybody wants to help. Everybody wants to support you. But when it comes time to taking action, here's a good example. The number of people who said they were going to buy my novel versus bought my novel. Not the same number. The number of martial arts schools who have said at events, oh, I'd love to set up a wholesale account with whistlekick, versus never did and thus never purchased anything. If every martial arts school that said they wanted a wholesale account bought their gear from whistlekick, it would probably solve our financial problems. If half of them did, probably would. People don't have follow through. People say things that they don't really mean. That's how it goes. Cinnamon whiskey. I don't know what you're talking about with cinnamon whiskey, Jared. There's no cinnamon whiskey there. I don't think there's nothing. No, there's no flavored whiskey up there. None. Stacy says, I'm totally stoked with the role you've just given me and look forward to starting that work this week. It's going to be a fun project. Daniel, I did buy the novel and enjoyed it. I'm starting to wrap my head around the second book. The second book is coming. I don't know when, but I'm starting to think about it. It may happen. Maybe I'll get it done for Christmas. I don't know. I don't know if I have the time and the energy. I'm fried. This has been a rough year. And I'm kind of nervous what kind of book I would write if I wrote it now. And sadly, no, I'm not even going to talk about that. There are things that are personal enough that I can't share them, that I'm not willing to share them publicly. But let's just say that everyone in the book, everyone in the novel was based on a person that I know. Some of them were based on multiple people. All right. One more check. Here it is. You know, and this is a big deal. This is an episode that was, I don't know, 5 years in the making. It's taken a long time to get this episode done. If I were to ask you, there's a critter out there. Can't quite tell what. If I were to ask you, name the top 5 most famous female martial artists, who would they be? Those of you in the chat right now, throw out some names. Who are the most famous female martial artists? I'll wait. Jared says 5 years in the making. That's a lot of editing. Yeah, really bad audio. Jenny says Cynthia Rothrock. Jared says Cynthia Rothrock. Michelle Yeoh. Yeah, these are Chloe Bruce. These are names I would put down. Chloe's an interesting choice because we got a yes and then a no-show. Michelle Yeoh. So I would love to have Chloe on. I won't ask her again. There are a handful of other people that are on the gray list. I just kind of broke a rule. I gave you somebody who's on the gray list. Because it's not a blacklist. It's not that we wouldn't have them. It's just that we're never going to ask them. 1, 2, 3. There are like 5 people on that list. Ming-Na Wen. Well, your original instincts were right, chat. Cynthia Rothrock. A couple weeks ago, I had the chance to talk to Cynthia. We had to reschedule. Those of you who follow her on social media know she was sick. It wasn't COVID, but she was ill. And we finally made it happen, and it was a great conversation. I really enjoyed my talk with her. So that's there, episode 640. Proof that we continue to do everything we can to bring you great conversations, great stories from different people. Andrew worked really hard on making this happen. There was a lot of effort that went into it. So if you appreciate this episode and you know Andrew, make sure you give him a shout and say thanks. Because I just showed up and recorded. He did the work. Kayla Harrison. I would love to have Kayla Harrison on the show. Kayla might happen. Kayla might happen. It's going to take some time, but it might happen. It'll probably be a couple years if we do that one, just because of what's going on for her right now. So, all right. Frank gave us some stuff to talk about. Let's dig into that. Won't have long. We're running short. Running short on time. That's okay. Today is Positive Thinking Day. To celebrate, let's look at some Zig Ziglar quotes. Always a great way to start the week. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. People get paralyzed. How many times, if you're a martial arts instructor, I have to get in better shape before I can start martial arts. It's an excuse. It's a fear. And we do the same sort of thing all over the place. People are afraid of looking dumb and making mistakes. You know who's not afraid of looking dumb and making mistakes? Kids. Why are kids able to learn so well, so much, so fast? Because they're not afraid of looking dumb and making mistakes. Because that's how we learn. What's the worst thing that's going to happen if you make a mistake? Who's actually going to care? Who's going to judge you negatively? Are they people that matter? No. We as individuals spend a stupid amount of time not doing things that we want to do because of fear of judgment from people who do not matter. There was something I read the other day to wrap this up very cleanly. Don't worry about judgment from people you wouldn't go to for advice. Let them laugh at you. Daniel says, great get of a guest for the podcast. Chuck Norris before the year is out. Fingers crossed. That's like saying you're too dirty to take a bath. Oh, I like it. I like it. Success is dependent upon the glands, sweat glands. Success comes from a combination of a few things. Effort, experience, passion, and luck. The longer you stick around, the more likely the dice are to come up in your favor. That's the luck part. But you got to stick around. You got to do it. You don't quit. Things take time. Things always take longer than you think they're going to. Start any business, it's going to take longer and more money to get to where you thought you were going to go. Every single time. I've never talked to anyone who said, man, this business turned out so much easier than I expected. Coffee came out good. One more. You cannot climb the ladder of success dressed in the costume of failure. Let those resonate. Great way to start the day, start the week, and I want to thank you all for joining. Go check out that episode with Cynthia Rothrock. If you haven't checked out Thursday's episode, go check that one out too. If you have guest suggestions or anything, stuff like that, I want to hear it. What is happening? This thing is being dumb. Don't be dumb, computer. There we go. And if you want to support us, we've got a Patreon with some cool stuff that goes up there. And you can buy stuff at whistlekick.com with the code FirstCup15. Don't forget all our training programs at whistlekickprograms.com, like the free Flex program. Feedback is starting to come in. People are digging it. Actually, one person gave me some feedback yesterday that maybe there are some things that we need to fix. Some videos out of order. Yeah, we do that. If there are ways that we can improve the things that we do, we always do. And the beauty of the Flex program is you can get that new version for free too. In fact, you actually get, anytime you get a version of something, we send you the new versions for free when they come out. If we update a program, you get the new version of the program. We're not going to make you buy it again. And to you too, Stacy. So, go forth, do great things, represent the arts in positive ways. And I'll see you back here tomorrow. I appreciate you all. Take care, everybody.